Welcome, Gun Runner.
Welcome to Retro Core Volume 21. And something unusual, we're starting off the show with an Atari game that I actually like. Yeah, I think pretty much all Atari games are a bit on the crappy side. They're arcade games, that is. But I do like this one. And that's because when I was a little kid, this one blew me away. This and hard driving. This is Stun Runner, which actually stands for Spread Tunnel Underground Network Runner, just in case you're wondering. Yes, it's a futuristic tunnel racer. Now, while this may not be so special these days, when it originally came out, it was extremely attractive. So basically the idea of the game is to get from one end of the tunnel to the other end, while dodging and blowing up certain things and collecting stars if required. There's not really much to it gameplay wise, but it was extremely good fun back in the day. And it did seem light years ahead of anything else that was available. Don't forget there was no virtual racing back then. The actual arcade unit was also pretty impressive. You actually sat on a big looking futuristic bike, I guess. It was meant to be the craft which you're in, but it looked more like a bike from what I remember. And pretty much every arcade in the UK had it, or especially the Seaside Resort arcades had it. Now if you'd like to play this at the home, well, there's always MAME, but there's also conversions for the GameCube and PlayStation 2 on Midway's Arcade Museum, is it? Volume 3 anyway. So you can always check it out on your PlayStation 2 or your GameCube, and I do remember there was an original arcade port to the PC back in the day. There's also the Atari Lynx version and various other computer home format versions. You'd probably best go with the PlayStation 2 or GameCube version. Overall a pretty simple game, but quite fun. So this is Moto Racer 2 for the PC Engine from NCS Messiah. Now NCS Messiah stands for the Nippon Computer Systems from what I remember, and they made some of my favourite games of the 90s. They also made a few crappy games, including this. So the idea of the game is pretty simple. You race in GP races. You buy a car, you customize it with various options such as tyres, engines and turbos and so on. You can also turn your car into a tank or pretty much anything you want really. So once you've customized the car, you're onto the overhead racetrack. It looks fairly decent. But this is where the problem starts. It plays like crap. This game, like many games of this type, suffers from the problem that you can't really see where the corners are coming from. But at the fact that the computer controlled players, or the AI, seems to find it very amusing to ram you off the course all the time, really does start to get annoying, and it really does bring the game down. Another annoying feature is that you can get stuck in the side objects of the track. But one interesting point about the game is when you do actually go off screen, your car grows wings, or maybe it's picked up by a fighter jet or something, I don't know. But you can sort of fly across the course for a good 30 seconds, which is quite useful, and you can plonk yourself down wherever you want. As well as the pretty annoying AI of the computer control cars, the controls of your car are also a little bit on the sluggish side, I find. Now while this wouldn't be so bad, because most games of this type have over sensitive controls, this sort of makes the game a lot more difficult to play. Not really recommended. Oh, we got some good shite. for this show. This is Time Killers, made by Incredible Technologies. And what the hell are Incredible Technologies? Well, they made a lot of video quiz show arcade games, as well as a video pool and golf and shit like that. But they also made this really shitty beat 'em up. And surprisingly, this shit got a conversion to the Mega Drive, with even worse graphics and sound. Not surprising really. But the reason we're featuring the arcade version is because for an arcade game, this fucking sucks balls, man. It really does. This is pure shite. So right, what's wrong with it? Well, for the start, the graphics are fucking awful. They look like some bloody college student project more than an arcade company's game. The animation is pretty bad, it's jerky, and overall it just looks like crap. In fact, even the decapitations are not really much to talk about. Nice idea, mind you. It does alter the way that you play the game. Pretty good idea, actually. But it doesn't sort of come off very well. Control wise, it's pretty much what you'd expect. Unresponsive bollocks. In fact, awful collision detection, sluggish controls make this quality candidate for shite of the show. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it's like to be a gamer in Japan. Sure, in Japan we have loads of great shops to go shopping in, but we have very low space. So this is my setup here in Japan. As you can see at the bottom, we've got the emulation PC, Sega Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, and Mega CD and Mega Drive. Now that's connected to the TV via RGB, Sega Saturn RGB, Dreamcast RGB, and the PC is HDMI. Next to it we have an Xbox 360 connected to the TV through HDMI. And here we have the TV. Now this is an amazing TV. Sure, it's a flat panel TV, but just look at how good it handles retro consoles. And look how black the blacks are. It's brilliant, isn't it? Tell you, if you want a good LED TV, you get yourself a Toshiba. Fantastic screens. Toshiba Exa, that is, the high-end models. And down here we have the DVD player, Blu-ray, and THX, DTS, and Dolby Digital Amp. Okay. Now, over here I keep most of the games which I use regularly, and as you can see, it's pretty much all Xbox 360. Got a couple of Dreamcast games down there, and Mega CD. And a couple of Blu-ray discs and whatever. Now you're probably wondering, where's all my Sega Saturn games, since I've got billions of them on my site. In fact, where are all my games? Well, unfortunately, most games are kept in storage. And due to the policies of the storage place, you're not allowed to video in there. So I can't show you where most of my games are kept. So that's the PC setup there. But I do have some more games kept around here. In these drawers. So the top drawer is full of control pads. Yep, nothing exciting there. But the next 3 drawers down are full of Sega Saturn games. Now these are not all my Sega Saturn games, these are the games which I really do like. So I keep these in the house, while the bulk of my Sega Saturn games, about 1,000 of them, are kept in storage. As you can see in there. And we've got some stuff up here. Now you see these things dotted around the house. What these are for are collecting moisture from the atmosphere. Japanese weather is very humid, so you keep these in the house, and these stones will collect water from the atmosphere, and the water collects down at the bottom, which you'll see in the other room. So this is a typical Japanese bedroom. Yep, sleeping on the floor. Oh God, it really does my back in. But in this closet, I keep some more games. You can see here I've got my Mega Drive games. And you can see here this one's collected quite a lot of water. Still got some stones in the top though, so it's okay for now. Okay. So while I'm making this video, I'll give you a quick tour of a Japanese house. Now as I said, Japanese houses are very small. So you don't get much place to keep all your games. But we do have robotic toilets, oh yes. Even got the time on it. More buttons than you could ever want. Flushes itself, cleans your bum, bidet, ooh, it's got everything. Even lifts up the seat for you if you want. Have a quick look at the neighborhood. Yep. Typical of a Japanese home. The bathroom and washroom are all connected together. But it's fully air conditioned, which is cool. And of course, another robotic toilet. This is a typical Japanese room. I've only got one in the house because I don't really like them. This is a tatami room. And it leads onto the backyard. We're actually quite fortunate, most Japanese homes don't have a backyard, but we do. Looks quite nice at night, well, lights up nice and pretty. And into the main area where my wife usually stays. The dining room, another big TV there, and if you look closely, it's actually got a Nintendo Wii. Now that's my son's Nintendo Wii. Plays on that, and my wife uses it to watch Hulu. And over here we have the incredibly messy kitchen. Yeah, less said about that the better. So there you have a typical Japanese house. Not so big. You can have a look outside as well though. Nobody there. Auto Flash for the Sega Mega Drive. Now just listening to the music, the sound design of this game definitely liked Kim Wilde. Now you can't say there's no similarity there between Kim Wilde's Keep Me Hanging On, or You Keep Me Hanging On, and the little section there on Auto Flash's opening BGM. I wonder if that was intended or just coincidental. Okay, so this is one of Sega Mega Drive's less popular shoot 'em up, should we say. So why is it less popular? Well, you can see the graphics have a bit of a cartoony, chunky look to them, but that does appeal to some people. And it's certainly not an easy game. Well, it's a bit easy once you're fully powered up. But this is one of those shoot 'em ups that once you die, you lose all your powered ups. Yep, one of them. I do quite like this, it's pretty funny. You finish a level, you go back to your station, and then they say, get back out there, and you're back to the next stage. So as I was saying, while Auto Flash isn't exactly one of the best shoot 'em ups on the Sega Mega Drive, it is quite enjoyable, but it's not without its flaws. For a start, some of the backgrounds are quite annoying when it comes to detecting where the enemy's projectiles are. Yep, many a times you could be thinking, what the hell hit me? And this background may look a bit on the fast side, but at least you can see what's coming at you. This background, which is heavily Gradius influenced, can be a little bit tricky to see the projectiles, because the background's red, and so are the projectiles quite often. And that's nothing compared to this background. What the hell were they thinking when they came up with this? Guaranteed to give you a seizure, if not a migraine. So most shoot 'em ups have a gimmick, and the gimmick of Auto Flash is the ability to change from a spaceship into a robot. Now weapon wise, it doesn't really matter which one you choose, especially when you're low powered up, or when your powered ups are low I should say. But once you powered up the craft or the robot to a respectable level, you do get different tactics to choose from. Just the robots quite often has weapons that will fire backwards or diagonally upwards, which can come in handy for taking out certain enemies. But overall, I would say that the actual spaceship is the better craft to use. Although the robot does have a sort of kamikaze special, where it allows you to sort of ram into the enemies and completely destroy them without being harmed yourself. Unfortunately, when it does happen, the controls become extremely loose, so it is quite difficult to control. The spaceship itself just has a standard blaster type smart bomb which sort of shoots out in front of it, which is quite powerful. This is one annoying boss. Certainly seems to be a Thunder Force 3 influence, doesn't it? forest green background, and you gotta shoot a red target on the enemy's stomach, which it keeps bloody covering with its head, the bastard. Also fires out fireballs, pretty much like the same ones you see on the boss of Thunder Force. So while it's not a great game, it may be worth checking out if you can get it cheap. Quite an unusual one this is the Metamoquester. I hope I pronounced that right. A sort of one-on-one beat 'em up, where actually the second player can join in too. So you get a choice of 3 players to choose from, not a lot. So of course we're going to go to go first. And you travel around the world to beat up big monsters, Godzilla style. And the game is pretty much like your standard one-on-one beat 'em up, with a little bit of a twist. So here I am taking on the big boss guy, and this is the only guy in the level, so yeah, it's a one-on-one beat 'em up. But player 2 can actually join in and help me beat the crap out of this thing. Move-wise, it's pretty similar to, I don't know, it's like Samurai Showdown, I guess. A lot of the moves are just forward attack or back forward attack. It's not really too complicated. This guy here, he's a right bastard to kill. This took ages to kill this one. As well as having the standard attacks, each character has a projectile attack and 2 forms of specials. One is sort of like basically like a fireball type special, I guess, and then you've got your super special, which is what I'm doing right now. Unfortunately, every character's super special is exactly the same. So here we go with the young Strider-inspired character. He's not too bad to use, but not as good as the woman. But he does have this very useful charge attack. But unfortunately, the CPU tends to block it quite often. Here we go with the final character, who is complete and utterly useless. Probably best avoid him. So an interesting concept for the game, and quite enjoyable to play. And surprisingly, it's actually made by Presto. So they can make something interesting.